everyone, I'm Casey Richardson alongside Chief Robert Moore of the Texas A&M Engineering Extension Service Emergency Services Training Institute, or as we like to call it around here, TEEX ESTE. And today, Chief and I are just going to talk about ESTE and our facility and our division and how we do what we do and why we do what we do and what's in the future in terms of what you can expect to see from us training-wise, facility-wise, all that good stuff. So, Chief, first let's talk numbers. Let's start out there because those are always good to talk about. In training numbers, we've continued to grow. And last year we trained more than 116,000 people. Yep. How have we been able to grow to that size at this point?
Well, we grow each and every year. The numbers are coming from our extension areas. Municipal sector extension, but also our industrial and our international extension that we're delivering training around the world. You know, the field will only support what it'll support as far as numbers. And we're fairly close to maxing those numbers out.
You said around the world. I know that international training, in terms of what we do it a little bit differently than you might see us do it here. We utilize training partners in our cooperative learning centers. Right. Let's talk a little bit about them and what they bring and how they help us.
Well, we have cooperative learning centers located all around the world, and that number continues to grow. The last count that I can remember, we were at about 13. A lot of those are down in the Latin American countries. We're very picky about who becomes a cooperative learning center. And it's not just anybody can call and say, hey, I want to be a cooperative learning center. They have to have something to offer to TEEX and to the students. So in other words, they have to have a training facility that meets our standards. They have to have instructional staff that meets our standards, and they have to deliver our courses the way we would deliver our courses. We want to make sure the quality is there. We want to make sure that the material is covered the way it needs to be covered, and it helps provide lower cost training to those people who are not here in the United States and can't afford the travel to get in.
You can find more information about our CLCs on our international page, and that's teex.org/international. Moving on to a different subject, let's talk about our facility here in College Station. It's about 300 acres, correct? Give or take. We have a buffer area. It's always changing. I feel like in the time I've been here, I've seen it grow even more, and I know that we've got plans to grow even more from here. Talk about a little bit about what the plan is and specifically which props we could see changes in the near future and what areas.
The field is constantly evolving. We want it to grow each and every year. We want to show our students, our customers, something new every year. The props, they may be the same basic prop, but we change each prop up on a yearly basis, change leak points, change areas of the prop so that we can meet new objectives on that prop. We have an expansion plan that was a 20-year expansion plan initially, but we've kind of scrapped the time frame and we're advancing on that. We're going to see some new industrial props where the LPG props currently are located. The LPG props will be moved over where rescue used to be located.
The old brick training tower that came down last year?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And, we're going to build a large new classroom/office building located next to Building 25, the H.D. Smith building. So there is plans on continual expansion, continual update of the props, and building of new props.
Infrastructure as well, correct?
Infrastructure as well. We've upgraded our fire water system currently, where we're able to get the amount of water out there that our firefighters need. to be able to deal with the props. And you know, we pride ourselves on being the biggest and best training school in the world. To do that, you have to constantly evolve and make things better.
Moving forward, talking about curriculum, we are always looking at what we need to adjust in that world too, especially when it comes to NFPA standards being changed, and the recent changes to 1081 and then hazmat going to 1072 brought about some changes in our world. Can you talk about how those are going to affect students who have had those in the past, and then how we are moving forward?
Well, as far as curriculum, it's like our fire field. It's constantly evolving. You know, our curriculum is based, or the majority of our curriculum is based on NFPA standards. They're on a 5-year cycle where those standards are changed each 5 years. They're updated and changed. So we have to change our curriculum to make sure we stay current with the standard. We've got to make sure that you know, that we're meeting the intent that the committees that create these standards are wanting us to. So, you know, we do that each and every year. Now, when a standard changes, that doesn't mean that if you were certified already in that discipline that you lose your certification, okay? It just means that you're not certified to the current standard, you're certified to the previous standard. They don't make huge changes to curriculum or to the standards. You know, they make small additions and things that that will not take away from your current certification. Now, 1072 is a little bit different animal, okay? Before there was not a ProQual standard, we were certifying up to the 472 level of hazmat, and then NFPA chose to make a ProQual standard for hazmat, which is now 1072. Those people that are certified to 472 will still keep their certification to 472 hazmat, but it's not going to carry over to 1072. So, you know, if you want that 1072 certification, then we'll have to go through the training sessions and testing.
And part of that change is we're moving one of our classes online, correct?
We're going to put the awareness level online for the 1072. So, you know, people will be able to take that portion of the curriculum online, test online, and then come in and do the operations level and the technician level here at the field or at your facility. We can come to your facility.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that's the biggest change that we see here lately is the addition of online learning and blended learning. I think it used to be in emergency services that was kind of frowned upon, because how could you possibly learn what you need to learn from a computer? But technology has come so far, and TEKS, we're catching up in that world, but we're trying to do more online. Talk about, I know probably the biggest blended learning we have is our Recruit Academy that meets 3 times a year, but they do a blended learning. How important is blended learning going to be in our future?
We are going to have to get into the new technology, which is online training. I've never been a big proponent of online training because in the past, you know, we didn't have the technology we have today when we first started doing online training, and the training was subpar. One thing here at TEKS, though, that we want to make sure of, if we do a blended learning session or blended learning class, that we still put enough emphasis on the hands-on piece. Where I've seen the mistake of blending learning in the past is, you know, we put more emphasis on the didactic portion and less on the hands-on. You know, the hands-on is very important to make sure that the students can actually get out and do what is required in the curriculum and what is required in the real world. Good example is our online Recruit Academy. Most training facilities that have an online program, they spend a lot of time on the didactic, and then they have short period, week to 2 weeks of hands-on training. I don't feel that that's enough. It doesn't give the students, good experience out there with that hands-on aspect. So we've chosen to do 3 weeks or 21 straight days of hands-on training, 8 to 10 hours a day. That gives them a little more time and a little more experience out there on the equipment. We want to make sure that anybody who goes through an online course delivered here at TEKS ESTE goes out, has an opportunity to get a job, but when they get out there and go through the testing process for their job application, you can't tell the difference between those people and the people that did a face-to-face class.
You can learn more about what we do at teks.org/ESTE.